So in today's video I wanted to talk about the kind of godfather of modern jazz guitar, Jim Hall, and steal a really simple idea that you can use in your comping to help you get through chord changes and also just kind of maybe change your perspective on how you look at playing the guitar as a chordal instrument. So if you don't know, Jim Hall is one of the most incredible jazz guitarists to ever play the instrument. He was an incredible composer, he was an incredible accompanist, he was an incredible soloist. So if you aren't familiar with Jim Hall's work, I strongly recommend you check some of it out. But I wanted to steal this kind of basic concept because I find a lot of my students get super into, you know, drop twos and drop threes, which of course is fantastic for playing chords because they're important and they're fixed. But the problem that I think a lot of people have is they think of harmony as they're almost like these neat boxes that you need to play exactly the thing, rather than this living, breathing world of emotion and expression that we can actually tap into and use. And the other common thing that I see a lot is guitarists want to always add more notes to chords. It's almost like we have this inferiority complex with piano players because they have 10 fingers and 88 keys. We want to try and match what they're doing, when in actuality, we try to match what they're doing by adding in more and more notes to our chords, when really a lot of the time if we simplify and just chose more interesting notes, we could get a lot of really cool notes happening and really beautiful sounding chords. And that's something that Jim Hall did so well. Is he used to do what we used to call in university guide tones. And what guide tones are is the third and the seventh of a chord. So say for example I wanted to play C major. The guide tones of C major 7 would be E and B. So E is my third, B is my seventh. So if I fill in, that's kind of the bulk of my chord. If it was C minor 7, it would be B flat and E flat, which we could get here. If it was C dominant, E and B flat. And so just to kind of illustrate this idea, I wanted to use all the things you are. So first of all, here's what one of my students might play if I was using my drop 2 and drop 3 chords. So the first A section of all the things you are goes F minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat 7, to A flat major 7, to D flat major 7, to G7, to C major 7. And this is wonderful. Like, these chords sound great. But they're kind of pedestrian and boring. So if we were to strip this down to its core essentials, we would end up with, we want A flat and we want E flat for our F minor 7. This is going to fall to A flat and D flat for B flat minor 7. Then we get G and D flat as my guide tones for E flat 7. And then it becomes G and C for my guide tones on A flat major 7. We're gonna get, this F and C for D flat major 7. This is going to fall to F and B for G7, which is going to fall to E and B natural. So to recap this, my guide tones would be then if it kept going. But by using these guide tones, first of all, it gives us a really nice way to express the harmony, and we're really not stepping on anyone's toes with these. But the other cool thing that we can do with these is we could take these and add kind of a color tone on top of them. So say for example, for this F minor, rather than just playing the guide tones, what if I put a 9 on top as a color tone? If we wanted on that B flat, we could keep that, and now it's kind of like a minor 13 kind of sound. What if I I put a 9 on top of my E flat guide tones there, same thing could happen. I could keep that note, and now I'm kind of implying this A flat major 13. So again, I took this, and I turned it into then when we go down, maybe we become, keep the 9 on top. Let's do, I'll put a 13 on top for G, and then maybe I'll bring it back down to a 9 when I get to the C chord, which is a beautiful sound, right? So let's look at other options. I could do then what if I did this? So here it's I'm putting a sharp 11, F sharp on top of that C. I could also grab that here. But this is just the idea, is that you can create these really interesting dialogues, and the thing that I like about it is it's a lot more mobile when you're using these guide tones than when you're using big chunky chords that are fixed and static. Whereas with this, you get the kind of idea, where basically all we're doing is we're using these guide tones throughout the form, so just thirds and sevenths, and then I'm adding a color tone to it. And this is really nice because we get more interesting voicings, because to me, I would rather hear this I'm messed up getting to that A flat there, but I would rather hear that than because when I'm using these, they're a little bit more flexible, they're a lot more interesting because I'm not just hitting you with every note in the chord, and it's something that you can use to come up with your own voicings and some really cool things. Like, what else could you dress up the third and the sixth with? Like that, I actually really like that as a voicing for a major 7 sharp 11. It's kind of unexpected, and you get just stacked fifths, which is kind of cool. And it's a chord that I maybe wouldn't have come to if I was trying to come up with those kinds of voicings where I'm stuck in the drop 2s and drop 3s. So definitely still work on your drop 2s and drop 3s. But listen to some Jim Hall and pay attention to how he's comping for different people, and see if you can steal some of the beautiful stuff that he's doing with just guide tones. So I hope you found this useful. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It truly helps me out more than you could know. If you want to support me and my channel here, you can join me over on Patreon and get a week's early access to my videos, as well as some other exclusive content. I'd really appreciate that. If you want to take a guitar lesson with me, I'd love to meet you and work with you on whatever's troubling you on the guitar. I have a link to the contact page of my website down in the description there. I'd love to sit down with you. And last but not least, I got new videos coming out at least every Monday and every Thursday, so I'd love to see you in the next one. And until I do, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you get to have some fun playing the guitar.